Hi, I'm Marie Oldfield, Chartered Statistician, Chartered Scientist. I'm PhD Artificial Intelligence at Portsmouth. I'm talking about anthropomorphism and AI. AI has come a long way in terms of computing. We could argue that what's currently existing is machine learning, which is analysing big data, but we call it AI because we are trying to use language to express a complex concept such as AI, and we're trying to express it in terms of human-like features, which has led us to think that maybe the Terminator's coming, supercomputers are taking over the world, and philosophers think the singularity is going to be when AI takes over everything. So, anthropomorphism is a way to make sense of our surroundings, but anthropomorphizing technology is not necessarily helpful and can have serious consequences. This is because anthropomorphism taps into basic desires and beliefs. And marketers use this technique because they can get 7% more sales off products if they anthropomorphize it. And there's been hugely successful campaigns produced by Compare the Meerkat and really any car brand due to anthropomorphic features of the product. So two types of people suffer from anthropomorphism and AI, and this is not the only two, but it's two large groups. So social exclusion, where people are filling the social gap with things like chatbots and relationships with brands, and people wanting exclusive products to be exclusive and different from everybody else. They will form these relationships and exploit anthropomorphism too. However, when people perceive technical products as human-like, then an assimilation occurs, and it's not necessarily a helpful assimilation because exposure to technology with human-like features and affectations can affect how people think about others. So what can happen is after experiencing human-like technologies, people's perception of actual humans can become similar to what their perception of the technological products are. And the technological products are, in the end, objects. So this results in dehumanization, with humans treating other humans like the objects. This is not an alien concept because we've seen this where people play games that are violent on the Xbox or whatnot, and then they can go out and they can be violent themselves. Not that that is a proven thing that everybody does, but it's something that can happen when you tap into people's basic desires and beliefs and then anthropomorphize a product. So my recommendations for further work on this is that I think we need to look at the way language affects how we communicate complex concepts to each other, because technological developments are going to carry on going. They're going to get more and more complicated, and we haven't got clear enough, transparent enough, explainable technology that we can express to each other in basic language. So we're trying to find ways of expressing what this technology is. And anthropomorphism is an easy way to go with it, but it might not be the right way to go because it does have negative consequences. So marketers need to be aware of the actual technology as well, not just simply trying to market products, because there are serious social consequences to this technology being implemented in an anthropomorphized way. But also, as they are implementing it, we need to make sure that it's ethically developed so that the consequences on society, the negative consequences, are minimal. Educating the wider society so that people know what the risks are, the negative aspects of the technology as well as the positive, so they can make an informed decision as to whether they want to use it. And that they understand what it actually is, and that it's not actually a human at the other end of the line. It is AI or a chatbot, and it's not real in the sense that a human might be real. Society is struggling at the minute through implementation of non-explainable technologies and AI algorithms. So we need to be aware of what is actually going on where these algorithms are implemented, how the decisions are made, and how the user should use the information at the end of them as well. I think we need a lot more work on dehumanization and exploitation of humans by AI, and also on anthropomorphism, because this is a relatively new area of research. And I think there's a lot more to learn, especially because there are such negative consequences attached to this type of problem. And interdisciplinary work in between developers, philosophers, psychologists, sociologists is key in order to understand the effects of the technology being developed and how we can guard against this for society, but also ameliorate it where it has already happened. So I think there's a great amount more work to be done in this area. Thank you very much for your time today. Thanks for listening.